Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be relationships that stand the test of time. Well, I'm going to talk about some clues and some signs and some things to look for to try to get an idea of whether or not your relationship is going to stand the test of time apart, going off to college, those kinds of things. I've got an email here from a viewer, and he says, "Hey Corey, I just thought I would ask your opinion on something. I've been seeing a girl for about 5 months now, and she said the other night that she had fallen in love with me." Well, that's a good sign because it obviously means that you've done more things right than wrong, and you've been following what I teach, and now the girl's in love with you. So good fucking job. He says, "I love her too, but I've known since the beginning that she's going to go to the university in just under a year's time. I have a hard time trusting women after what happened with my ex. I haven't been jealous towards her at all during our time together, but going to a university is a big step in her life, and I'm happy she's going for it. I mean, if she can get a better life out of it, then there is no way that I would ever want to hold her back from that. Do you think a relationship can last through the university? I mean, she's going to come into contact with a ton of guys, all trying to hit on her, and of course they will be drinking as well. I want to try and make this work with her and have a great relationship and we have a great relationship at the moment, and we date a lot, which is important. So what do you think I should do?" Well, the simple answer is to keep doing what you're doing that made you successful. Now, here's the deal. If you guys are totally head over heels in love with you and you really care about each other, and when she goes away to school, you're going to talk. You're going to talk on Skype. You're going to talk on the phone constantly. And obviously, if you're smart, you're going to go visit her, and obviously she's going to come back home at times to visit and spend time with you. And here's the key. It's like if you want a relationship to last, because it sounds like you're pretty young, and I'm 42, and so I've been through a lot of relationships over the last couple of decades in my adult life, and there are relationships that I was for sure, after I've been dating for a couple of years, I was like, I'm definitely going to marry this girl. And then a year or two later, I realized that our values were no longer aligned, or our goals were no longer aligned, or I just grew to a point where I just felt like we weren't going in the same direction. And that happens not only with your intimate relationships, but it also happens with friendships. It also happens with business partners, because like Wayne Dyer's got this analogy that I love, and he says it's like you could think of your life as like one of those trolley cars like they have in San Francisco, those cable cars that are pulled along the road by this cable that runs underground. And your little trolley car, it's like as you're going through life, there's people that get on your trolley, and they're there for a long period of time. They're with you through the whole journey. There's other people that will get on your trolley. They're on it for a short period of time, and then they get off, and you never see them again. Or you don't see them for 15, 20 years, and then they hop back on your trolley, and then they're there again for a period of time, and then they disappear only to come back into your life again at a later time. And that's kind of the way life is. But as you get older, your outlook changes in life. Your goals changes, the things that you want. It's like when you're young, the things that you think you want, you need to be happy and successful. When you fast forward 10, 15, 20 years into the future, the things that were important to you in your early 20s, they're not going to be the same things that are important to you in your 40s. And the things that are important to you in your 40s are not going to be the things that are important to you in your 60s. And so the key is, like when I look at couples that have stood the test of time, meaning they've been together for 30, 40, 50 years, and they're still crazy about each other, they're still in love with one another, and it's very rare to meet couples like that. But couples that stand the test of time, they raise a family together, they have a lot of the same goals, the same outlooks, they like to do the same kinds of things together, that's really super important. Like when I talked about in my book, the woman that I got married to in my 20s, I loved her, but I wasn't in love with her. And deep down, I knew the relationship should have ended, but I was just too weak, too young, and too inexperienced, and I placed too high of a value on other people's opinions who were outside of the relationship as opposed to trusting what my own heart was telling me. And when I realized after going through that process that I would never get married again unless I was 100% sure it was somebody that I really wanted to spend the rest of my life with, and I felt that. And even though I've had some really fucking awesome, outstanding relationships since that marriage that I had in my mid-20s, I've never gotten to the point where I felt like I was with somebody that I wanted to get married again. Come very close several times, But after having gone through the experience of making the mistake, and also having lots of friends that I've known, that I grew up with, get married and divorced and remarried and divorced and married again and divorced several times, I just realized that I need to trust my heart. And I've learned that when you trust your heart and your intuition on things, whether it has not only has to do with your relationships, but your career or businesses that you have, or friendships or business partnerships, or following your dreams, it always leads you to the right path. And where suffering comes in and where you make bad mistakes are when you ignore your own internal feelings that are telling you to do something that is maybe the opposite of what your head is telling you to do, or your friends are telling you to do, or your family's telling you to do, or your coworkers are telling you to do. You got to learn to trust your own feelings, your own heart, and your intuition, because as you grow older, you change careers, you change jobs. It's like about every 7 years, your group of friends, the people you spend most of your time with, they tend to change. I mean, like what I've realized is that as I've gotten older, the amount of friendships that I have has gotten smaller, but the friendships that I've maintained all of these years have become deeper and richer, and we've become more close. Because it's like when you're younger, you have a lot of friendships and a lot of relationships with people that are just kind of there because you have things in common, you like to go out and drink together, you work together, whatever it happens to be. And when some things change in your life, you no longer work the same place, or you don't go out and party and drink anymore, those people just don't hang out with you anymore, and you just really kind of don't really have that much in common. And it's not until you get older and you get some perspective in life and you're able to look back that you realize that people that are with you, that really care about you, that love you regardless, that honor you and accept you the way you are with all your flaws, faults, and idiosyncrasies, they're always like that. They were like that 20 years ago, and they're like that today, and they'll be like that 20 years from now. But people that aren't really with you, they don't really care about you for you, maybe they get business from your company, or they have a business relationship with you, or you know somebody that works for you that they're the spouse of, that kind of thing. Well, when whatever relationship is that has brought them into your life, when that changes, they tend to disappear along with the end of the relationship. And it's really interesting. Like I said, it's like as you get older, and it's like the same thing like with women I date. Like when I was younger, I used to date and sleep with a lot more girls than I do as I've gotten older, just because when you get to the point you can have really super high quality relationships with women, you don't want to date just anybody. You don't want to sleep with just anyone, because you want somebody that's really special. It's like you don't want to go from dating a 10 to sleeping with a 5 or a 6 just because you happen to be single and you haven't found the next great love of your life yet. In a lot of ways, you'll feel it's kind of beneath you to lower your standards to sleep with somebody who's not at least as good as your last girlfriend or better. And it's like the same thing with the older I get, the pickier I get, not only with business or business decisions or business partners, because like when you're younger and like you start businesses out, you're more apt to take risks and jump into those things without really thinking it through. And then after you get burned a few times with a few bad business partnerships and things of that nature, or people who just didn't have the same kind of character that you did, who said one thing when you were getting into business with them, but once you were in business together, they never seemed to follow through on the things that they promised. And then having to get out of business with them and go through all that process, kind of like a divorce in a lot of ways. You realize that you're not so quick to jump into things. But like I said, you're young and you really haven't experienced a lot of relationships at this particular point in your life. But like I said, if you have the same goals, if you have the same values, if both of you, and I mean both of you, because it takes two, if she makes the effort to keep the relationship going as much as you do, and as long as you're doing everything right on your end, the relationship will continue to grow. I had a few friends that I went to high school with that when they went off to college, they dated long distance, and then after college was over, they both moved back to the same city, and they got married, and they've been together for 20 plus years, and they were high school sweethearts. But those are it's very rare that couples are like that. And so the question meaning, will your particular relationship stand the test of time? It will if both of you make the effort, and as long as you don't do a lot of things to turn your girl off. But you got to keep in mind, she's young, and it really depends upon what she's like, what her character is like. Because, a lot of girls that are younger and they don't have a lot of experience, it depends on the family background. If she came from a really good family where mom and dad are still together and she really loves her parents and she's a loyal person, there's a good chance that you guys will make it. But if she comes from a family where maybe the parents aren't together or there was affairs involved, it's just, she might not be so apt to be loyal and faithful to you. But like I said, the only best thing you can do is put your best foot forward. And at the end of the day, if she's going to cheat on you when she's away from you, she's going to cheat on you. I did a video a while back called How to Tell If She's Cheating. So if you Google Corey Wayne, how to tell if she's cheating, watch the video so you know some signs to look for. But other than that, that's all you can do. Put your best foot forward, and if she's a good girl, if she's the kind of quality woman that you think she is, she'll stick with you. She'll make the effort, and she'll do her part. So if you have a question that you want to ask me, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, which will be on the left-hand side of your screen. Send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max, and just give me several days to get back to you with a response. If you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which will be at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you want a digital version of my Kindle ebook, on my website, underneath the email sign-up box is a box that has a link that'll take you right to the download page for my book. Once you get there, if you don't have a Kindle device, on the right-hand side of the download page, there's a button you can click to download a free e-reader app for your smartphone, tablet device, or your computer. It only takes a matter of seconds to download and install the app and complete the purchase of my book. And if you appreciate the value of the information I offer in these video newsletters, you can show your appreciation by going to my website right now. And on the Wibbia toolbar, which is at the bottom of your screen, click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information. And I will talk to you soon.